There have been two presidents named Johnson. The first, Andrew Johnson, took office when President Lincoln was assassinated, was eventually impeached, and avoided conviction in the Senate by one vote. The second was Lyndon Johnson, who also gained the White House as a result of an assassination. Johnson's ambitions for his great society ran up against his unpopular support for the Vietnam War, and he eventually chose not to run for re-election in 1968. My next guest, Gary Johnson, hopes to be the third President Johnson. He just won the nomination of the Libertarian Party. It's a long shot, but his candidacy could, at a minimum, swing the election one way or the other. So he joins me now. Governor Johnson, welcome to the show, sir.
Great being here.
Actually, welcome back. I know you were here years ago with one of my predecessors, so it's good to have you back on the show.
Yeah.
All right, you say you believe the great middle of this country is libertarian. How do you convince the great middle of this country that they are?
Well, just the notion that most people, I think, are fiscally conservative and socially liberal. And most people, I think, recognize that our military interventions, for the most part, are having the unintended consequence of making things worse, not better.
Are you comfortable with the idea that you might be a spoiler?
I don't think I'm going to be a spoiler in this. I think it's a draw from both sides. And
do you believe that, though? Do you think you're going to draw equally, or do you think that ultimately you're going to become the sort of the way station for Republicans that can't support Trump?
You know, my name has appeared in 3 national polls, 10%, 10%, 11%, and in those polls they did a bit of analysis and actually determined that I took more votes away from Hillary. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a draw from both sides.
How much have you reached out to people like Mitt Romney and others who have been steadfast in their never Trump?
You know, Chuck, I've never found it effective to reach out to anybody. When they reach out to your side, that's when it actually is effective, and that's what we're finding, is people are reaching out to us. And I'm talking, too, about my running mate, Bill Weld. I think it's terrific that he joined this ticket. 2 Republican governors serving in heavily blue states that got reelected by big margins.
I want to ask you a little bit about your governing philosophy. Obviously, you were known for all of those vetoes. I think about 750 of them when you were governor of New Mexico. You were overridden only a handful of times, though one of them was a big override. It was the budget.
Which the Republicans at the end said, hey, we give up. You're not going to be around. We'll deal with it.
But I've heard you talk about all of the agencies you would eliminate. Let me ask the question differently. As a libertarian, I think you want to eliminate some 7 cabinet posts if you become president. What is the role of government in your view?
Well, less government. I mean, smaller government. I think government tries to do too much, and at the end of the day, it taxes too much, and that's money out of your and my pocket.
Okay, but let's get specific. What should it regulate? What should the federal government be in,
protect us against individuals, groups, corporations, foreign governments that would do us harm. So at the end of the day, I'm looking to get elected president of the United States. I'm going to sign off on any reduction in the federal government, agencies specific. I can't wave a magic wand and make those things happen, but yeah, smaller government is a good thing. If you're looking for the smaller government, guys, it would be the libertarian ticket.
But what should it be regulating, I guess? That's what I'm trying to get specific there. What is it that the government should be involved in? You say, for instance, health care. Should it have a role in health care?
Well, I think that we should provide a safety net. I just think that we've gone way over the line with regard to defining those in need, and that if we don't reform Medicaid and Medicare, we're going to find ourselves without being able to provide that. I think at the end of the day, as a result of government spending, at some point we're going to have really horrible inflation in this country.
Let me ask you on defense. When would you use the military? When would you? What is that line?
When we're attacked, we're going to attack back, and I reject the notion that libertarians are isolationists. Look, there should be diplomacy to the hilt, but with regard to our military interventions, boots on the ground, dropping bombs, flying drones that are killing thousands of innocent people, I think that it's had the unintended consequence of making the world less safe. Let's involve Congress in declaration of war, something that they have abdicated that responsibility to the executive and to the military.
So you do not believe in any military engagement that would be done on a humanitarian basis, for instance?
Well, no, and you can't exclude that. You don't want to sit by and watch some sort of humanitarian crisis go down either. But so much.
Were you in favor of Bosnia, the intervention there?
You know, not having been involved in it at the time, I don't want to misspeak, but how about having a skeptic at the table with regard to these military interventions? And yes, if we are going to make a difference, then count on me to step up. But skeptical of our military interventions, like I say, we've got treaties with apparently 69 countries where we are obligated to defend their borders, and were treaties that were executive treaties not authorized by Congress.
Final out question here for you. The results come in on election night. You have had an impact. Will you be more comfortable if your impact elects a President Clinton or a President Trump?
You know, Chuck, I would not be doing this if there weren't the opportunity to win. But the only opportunity that I have of winning is to be in the presidential debates. And to be in the presidential debates, I've got to be in the polls. Right now, I've been in 3 national polls, but in the meantime, there have been another 40 polls where my name has not been included.
No, I understand that, but if your candidacy helps elect Donald Trump, would that make you feel as if you had a successful candidacy?
Well, successful candidacy will be talking about issues that aren't being talked about right now, and that combination, that unique combination of being fiscally conservative, smaller government, and individual liberty and freedom, a person's right to choose, always come down on the side of choice. And then when it comes to the military, look, let's have some skeptics here. Hillary Clinton arguably is the architect of our foreign interventions. That's a unique combination that neither party offer. Right. And at the end of the day, you know, they're not going to just pay lip service if I'm on the stage. They're going to have to do more than that. Yeah.
But if you could not win, do you have a preference of which of the other 2 major party candidates you'd like to see win?
Well, I would vote Libertarian. I know that there would be a Libertarian, and it's important also, and I know you know this, but I'm the only third-party candidate that's going to be on the ballot in all 50 states. All this talk about third party, well, I'm it.
Okay. Gary Johnson, we'll be watching.
All right,
coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
When we come back, Hillary Clinton's takedown of Donald Trump this week seemed to leave him with no answer beyond some familiar tweets and insults. But it seems as if there was another victim of that speech. Bernie Sanders, whose candidacy feels a little smaller today. The Democratic race when we come back.